So President Green, do you have the agenda?
I believe I just received it. 1 second. Sorry. Let me refresh the page.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Citywide Council for District 5 January calendar meeting 2023. It is 6:34 p.m. I'd like to begin with our interpreters in the room, Spanish interpreter, then the Mandarin interpretation information. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Maricela, Miguel are your interpreters for tonight. The following message is going to be in Spanish. Si ustedes escuchan la participación de los panelistas en español, se les solicita por favor que marquen a la línea de conferencia en español. El número de la línea de conferencia en español es el 347-966-4114 y se le va a solicitar que ingrese una clave. El número o la clave que va a usar es el 800-912-241 tecla numeral. Ahora, usted desea permanecer en la sala de conferencias del Zoom para poder ver a los panelistas. Lo único, por favor, se le pide que silencie el micrófono en su celular y también baje el volumen de su computadora para evitar el sonido de fondo. Nuevamente, repito entonces, la información para la línea de conferencia en español es el número 3, el número de teléfono, perdón, es el 347-966-4114 y ingrese la clave siguiente, que es 800-912-241, tecla numeral, la cual la voy a colocar en el chat para que esté también accesible. Gracias.
大家好，欢迎你们来参加今天下午的会议。如果你们需要国语翻译的话，请拨打347-966-4114，然后按密码916-470-437，然后按井号键。再重复一遍，如果大家有需要国语翻译的话，请拨打347-966-4114，然后按密码916-470-437。井号键，谢谢。
谢谢。
Thank you, interpreters. May you please give the information in the chat for those that are going to come in late. We will be recording this meeting this evening. We have an important presentation that will be shared out. If you'd like to refer back to the recording, we will post it afterwards on the YouTube channel from our outreach. We will put the link down below in the chat. Please utilize our outreach access of information. Appreciated. We will begin with roll call. Recording Secretary Montalban, are you ready to take roll call for this evening?
Hi, good evening. Yes, I'm going to start the roll call now at 6:37 p.m. Ms. Christy Angel.
Present.
Ms. Constance Theodore.
Here.
Ms. Celia Green.
Good evening. Present.
Ms. Aisha Husbands.
Present.
Ms. Patricia Jewett.
Present.
Ms. Joanne Jones. Ms. Joanne Jones. Mr. Shamel Lawrence.
Hello.
Ms. Christy Montalban. Present. Mr. Angel Morales. Mr. Angel Morales. Mr. Craig Spencer.
Good evening, present.
And Miss Amy Mingsai.
Good evening, present.
And I have Mr. Lawrence is here in the chat. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 members present and we do have quorum.
Thank you, Recording Secretary Ms. Montalban. Can I get an appointment for timekeeper this evening? Any council members would like to help assist with timekeeping? I will timekeep for the council. We will take a moment of silence. This is the time for us to just give blessings to those that we have lost due to any of the situations that we are dealing with currently, and also to those that are dealing with COVID or family members who are dealing with COVID. So let's just take a minute to put them in our blessings. Thank you very much. We will go to our first item of the agenda this evening. Again, it is the January 2023 calendar meeting. We will motion to adopt the agenda. This will be for council members. Any members on the council would like to adopt the agenda or like to make amendments to the agenda?
Co-President Tsai, I'd like to make, amend the agenda to add some stuff. Ms. Corsino is actually doing an info session right now on, the D75 seats, I guess, that are, for lack of a better term, that are opening up. And she wanted to know if she could come on maybe about 8 or so, for like 5 minutes, just to update us in what those sessions are gonna be like, and any questions that the council itself might have about that. So I'd like to add that if possible to the agenda. She said it should be finished about 8 or so. So she'd be able to drop on around then for like 5 minutes if, the council will allow. The other thing is we do still need to do the public vote for the AA. Because we decided in the last meeting. So the public vote itself has to be done at this meeting. So I wanted to add that to the agenda. And there's one other thing. Yes, and voting for the date for the public hearing for the SCA, and putting out some dates today. And that's it. I think that's it. 1 second. Yeah.
Thank you, Co-President Green. Do any other council members would like to add or like to motion the agenda this evening?
So somebody else has a motion. I just thought about that. All right.
I don't hear or see any hands up. Any members on the council would like to motion to adopt the agenda with the addition to the 3 items that Co-President Green has added. The first, 8 o'clock, around 8 o'clock p.m. for Miss Gloria Christina to come and give info on the New York CC elections for D75. Number 2, the vote for the AA, and then 3, vote for the date and time for the public hearing of SCA. Need a council member, Studer, your hands up.
I so move the 3 items be added.
Thank you. We need a second.
Co-President Tsai, I second that.
Thank you. Moved by Councilmember Studi, second by Councilmember Spencer. Let's have a roll call. Recording Secretary Montavon, may you please do so when you're ready.
Okay, I am starting the roll call vote now to adopt the agenda with the 3 additions from Councilmember Green. Ms. Christy Angel,
No.
Ms. Constance Acedu,
Yes.
Ms. Celia Green,
Yes.
Ms. Aisha Husband. Oh, I'm sorry, she's not here. Ms. Patricia Jewett,
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Shamel Lawrence? Yes. Ms. Christy Montavon? Yes. Mr. Angel Morales? I'm sorry, did he join yet? No. I see some of the council members might have joined that weren't here for a roll call, but nobody announced their presence, so. 'cause I see.
I have not seen him on the list.
Okay, because now I see Aisha husband's name is listed as participant, so I'm not sure if she's here or not.
Yes, and I was here for roll call as well.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything when I called your name, so I apologize. Okay, I'm sorry, can I get your vote?
Yes,
Mr. Craig Spencer?
Yes.
Okay. And Miss Amy Ming Tsai?
Yes,
Okay, and just to confirm, Councilmember Morales and Councilmember Jones are not here.
correct for now.
Okay, so. We have 8 votes for yes and 1 no. The motion has passed.
Thank you, recording secretary. Montalvan, I see your hand up. Councilmember Studer, is that the old hand or do you have something else to add?
I apologize.
No worries.
Okay.
We will begin this evening with the New York City Department of Education and the SCA proposed 5-year capital plan amendments for the fiscal year 2020 to 2024 presentation. Our guest presenter this evening is Tamar Smith. Are you here? I just saw you, so I did make you a co-host, Tamar.
Yes, Amy, I am here. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
David.
Shall I go right into it?
Yes, and you
All
should
right.
be able to share your screen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. My name is Tamar Smith. I am with the School Construction Authority, the External Affairs Department. I wish you all a good evening and a happy new year. And thank you so much to the Citywide Council for District 75 for inviting us today. I will share my screen and then please let me know when you can see it. I hope that you can all see that.
Yes, we can
All right.
see it. And also just to
Wonderful.
let the public know, into our council members, the presentation was shared out to council members and the presentation materials will be shared on our website at ccd75.org and it will be posted as soon as possible. So this will be publicly shared and if you want to refer to it, you may do something there. Tamara, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Amy. Yes, we sent that along. So just a brief introduction before I begin. The School Construction Authority has plans in 5-year pieces. And as you can see, the current 5-year plan is fiscal year 2020 through 2024. So we are about in the last year and a half of the current plan. And every year in February and in November, the SCA issues an amendment to the plan. And once a year after the November amendment, we come forward to all of the CECs in the city and present the amendment to you and have an opportunity for questions and discussion of the capital plan. So that's why I'm here tonight. Thank you so much. All right, so to begin, the School Construction Authority's mission is to design and construct safe, attractive, and environmentally sound public schools for children throughout New York City. We're dedicated to building and modernizing schools in a responsible, cost-effective manner while achieving the highest standards of excellence in safety, quality, and integrity. All right, just minimizing this. All right. Okay, and so as I said, we are in the fiscal year 2020 through 2024 capital plan, and the total capital plan is $20.1 billion. And the capital plan really is divided into 3 major buckets. $8.75 billion is dedicated to capacity. That is all of our brand new schools, additions, leased build outs, anything that adds seats to the system. $3.49 billion is dedicated to mandated programs. And that's a wide variety of types of programs, but it's anything that's required by state, local, and federal laws. And then $7.87 billion is our capital investment bucket, which is dedicated to updating and renovating our existing school buildings. So to look at some citywide highlights of this capital plan, $7.87 billion is dedicated to capacity, $750 million for accessibility, $400 million dedicated to electrifying our buildings, over $1 billion for technology, and $317 million for TCU removals and playground developments. TCUs are commonly referred to as trailers. So removing those and redoing the playgrounds where they often sit. Okay, and so looking more closely at capacity, at the capacity bucket over here in the corner, you can see the full amount. For new capacity, over $6 billion is dedicated. For replacement programs, if a school needs to move to a new building or we need to lease something new, $936 million is dedicated. Class size reduction, $655 million. Removing those trailers I mentioned, $267 million, and early education, pre-K and now 3K, $876 million dedicated to that. All right, so in terms of capacity program for District 75, here I have listed all of the upcoming brand new buildings that contain seats for District 75 students. And it's arranged by opening year. And as you can see, it's across the city. So many new seats coming. And then in the next few pages, we wanted to give you a look at the some of the new programs and new schools. So this school in Queens opened up this year. This one also, this is the Hungerford School in Staten Island. That is a full District 75 school, opened up this year. This school in the Bronx is coming in September 2024, and it is in progress. Same with this one in Queens, opening September 2024. And this one in Brooklyn, 2024 as well. This new school, this addition actually in the Bronx is coming, opening in September 2025. This addition in Queens, 2025 as well. All right, and then we'll move on to capital improvement projects. So as I say, the capital improvement project bucket is to make sure our existing buildings are safe and functional. And as many of you know, the SCA really focuses on major building systems. So we work on such things as masonry repair, window and roof replacements, HVAC systems, new fire alarms, electrical upgrades, and all of the other categories you see here. We work closely with the DOE, of course, and the DOE's Division for School Facilities, DSF, which includes school custodial engineers, plant managers, and central staff, is responsible for the difficult job of day-to-day maintenance and repair of school buildings. Our agencies are separate, but we work closely together to maintain New York City schools. So something we're asked all the time and we always want to highlight is how exactly does something become a capital project in the SCA's 5-year capital plan? And in addition to suggestions from community education councils, there are several routes, and they're all parallel routes, all working together at the same time. One of the major ways that something can become a capital project is through the Building Condition Assessment Survey, BCAS. So every year, a group from the SCA, engineers, architects, and others go to visit every single school building in our system. And we're about between 11 and 1,200 individual buildings. And they examine every single building from basement to roof and everything in between, and rate every single aspect of the building on a scale, and to see what condition it's in, and whether it's coming to a point where it will need a repair. And these BCAS reports are available to anybody who wants to look at them. They're on the DOE's website. When you look up a school building, there's a facilities tab and you can see it. And they're very long, extensive reports, 25 pages or more, with photos and drawings and all kinds of details about that building. Another way that, so conditions that may need repair that we see are coming may become part of the capital plan. A problem reported to the DOE DSF, the custodians, may escalate to the SCA for a large repair if necessary. And of course, emergency issues. Anything that comes up right away, if falling masonry after a storm, we deal with immediately. Funding from elected officials. We are grateful that elected officials can give what we call ResAway funds, and they can help fund lots and lots of projects that wouldn't otherwise be in the capital plan. And something that I also sent to Amy is our most recent ResAway brochure. And Amy, maybe you can share that with everybody. That gives step-by-step and lots of information about how to apply for schools to go to their elected officials, their council members, and borough presidents to see if they can fund projects in your schools. And it gives all of the different just tips and information from the SCA on doing that. And then there are citywide initiatives. The mayor, the city council may fund a particular initiative that then and give money for that, as I say, and that can become part of the capital plan. All right, so District 75, the capital investment, that is the investment in buildings citywide with District 75 programs, is here. And you can see these are the major categories: elevators, exterior masonry, flood elimination. These are what the SCA focuses on. These are highlights. And as you see, $115 million for 99 projects. And these are pictures of examples of some of those kinds of projects. So in the Bronx, District 8 at PS 188, sorry, we're doing an exterior modernization project that includes windows and masonry in the roof. Here in Brooklyn, a window replacement. In Queens, District 26 at PS 205, a boiler conversion and climate control. So updating and modernizing those systems to make them more efficient and environmentally safe. District 22 at PS 236, a full accessibility project. Manhattan District 5, boiler replacement. So these are just some of the kinds of projects we're doing across the city at any one time. Path of travel and a beautiful gymnasium floor at PS 45 in the Bronx. And in Queens, PS 177, the Robin Sue Ward School for Exceptional Children. We did a huge project affecting lots of different parts of the school, exterior and interior. So as I mentioned, ResAway funding from elected officials is a hugely important complement to the capital plan funding. So here's a list of many, many project highlights of projects funded by elected officials all across the city. As you see, more than 200 projects and more than $34 million given by elected officials for all kinds of wonderful projects. And here are some examples. Cafeteria upgrade at Grover Cleveland High School. And each of these schools have District 75 programs in them. Playground upgrade at PS1, just getting started. This is the old one. Soon it'll be all new. Cafeteria upgrade, school in Manhattan. Beautiful auditorium upgrade in Brooklyn. Port Richmond High School, the athletic field was redone. And these are all funds from elected officials that allowed us to do this. Okay, so another important aspect of our agency is our dedication to increasing participation of minority-owned, women-owned, and locally based business enterprises, MWLBEs, on SCA projects. The SCA, just by virtue of being such a large construction agency in New York City, makes us one of the largest construction agencies in the state and even in the country. And so giving opportunities to these enterprises is essentially important to us. And we also run a mentor program, which provides support and access to capital and business opportunities for qualified emerging MWLBEs. So this way we encourage small organizations and we help them along and we provide funding and contracts on major construction projects. So in fiscal year 22 citywide, the SCA awarded more than $778 million in prime MWLBE contracts across 413 projects to 186 such firms. And in FY22, the SCA Mentor Program awarded over $100 million in those contracts across 329 projects to 110 firms. Okay, so this comment form you're familiar with. I encourage you to please give in this form as soon as you can, and especially to fill in your top 5 priority requests. Capital projects must provide a permanent enhancement with a lifespan of at least 5 years and a minimum cost of $50,000. Give that in when you can. Amy, I know that you spoke with our capital planning department and he'll be awaiting this form as soon as you can send it in. All right, so that brings us to the end of this. So I'm really happy to take any questions. And anything that I can't answer now, I'll note down and get back to you as soon as I can.
Thank you so much, Tamar, for the presentation. Again, we will be sharing this. It has been shared with council members here. We will also be sharing with the public on our website at CCD75.org if anybody would like to refer to it. We will also be sharing with all of our principals and assistant principals that's been waiting patiently to wait if their requests have been met. So I know there is a lot of just feedback and questions from the public in regards to what was presented today, as well as just in general, what the School Construction Authority items that they do in difference to the Office of Facilitation. So we want to get to every member here in this space, the public as well as council members. So we ask that please keep it short and please give other people the opportunity to speak, because we never really know what everyone else is sharing as well. So I do see a first hand, Council Member Spencer. Would you like to open, and please keep it short? Thank you.
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. Good evening, members of the public, and thank you, Ms. Smith, for your presentation. Just I want to piggyback what you're stating, Co-President Tsai. We may not have enough time in this space, but as co-chair of the capacity committee, I'm taking notes, and if need be, we'll try to set aside time to answer more questions and things of that nature in a committee meeting. So if we don't get a chance now, just leave your information in the chat or email our council, D75council at school.nyc.gov. And whatever we don't have time now, Co-President Tsai, Co-President Green, my co-chairs and I will work with you to see if we can set aside some time to answer questions that can't be answered here. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Spencer. I do see a hand up from the public, Munchkin Spivey. You may unmute yourself.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year to everyone. My question is, there's a lot of schools that need auditorium repair, well, a makeover of the auditorium, because even I'm talking about the old schools, the schools that have been there, you know, we've been here 50, 75 years. How can a school, you know, get in touch with this person to, you know, look at the auditorium, because the auditorium is used by our Ed Park and neighboring schools. So, and it's badly in need of repairs or a makeover. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So any space in a school that the school thinks needs a repair can be taken a look at and or just suggested, really. And I mean, one of the ways you can do that is by getting in touch with the CEC and asking the CEC to make that a priority request. Another way is to ask for funds from your elected officials. I really encourage that at all times. Invite them in to take a look and see if you can ask them to commit funds to do the renovation. And, you know, also taking a look and remembering that, and the SEA does have some money in the capital plan for things like auditorium upgrades and playgrounds and science labs. We do have, you know, money for that. So we take a look at that through our BCAS system. And lots of times we decide that auditoriums, you're absolutely right, they need an upgrade, they need repairs, and so we may include that in the capital plan as well. So there are lots of different avenues for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you for your question, Ms. Spivey. I don't see any hands, and any other members of the public or council members have a question or feedback. Welcome. Feel free. I see hand up. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, good evening. So that was the plan for the next 5 years. Am I understanding it correctly? Or is that for the current year to 2024?
Correct. You're absolutely right. The second part. Yeah, that's the current capital plan. We're
Okay.
planning for the next one, but we're in the current. The current one ends June 2024.
And my next question is, a lot of the schools that I visited, and a lot of schools did not have accessible wheelchair ramps or elevators for a lot of the children that I noticed that are going to, like, I'm sorry, because my daughter she just came.
No
So
problem. I think I understand where you're headed. You're asking about accessibility projects. Yeah.
Yes, like a lot of the schools were like really, really old fashioned. And,
yes,
you know,
right.
Children that are autistic and, you know, some are chronic asthmatic are climbing up to the 4th floor and then going back down to the 1st floor, then going back up to the 2nd floor. Like it's a lot.
You're right. And so many of our school buildings, as you all know, are very old, and they were built before people took those considerations into account and are lacking accessibility. But in the current capital plan, there's over $700 million dedicated to making buildings accessible. As you can imagine, it takes a long time. But we have many, many projects that are in design to bring things like elevators and ramps, bars, all sorts of smaller accessibility items to buildings as well right now. So we have lots of projects that are already in construction doing all of that. We have a lot that are in design, and it will take a lot of time. It would definitely, and more money than we have right now in this capital plan to bring every building up to accessibility. But what we're doing is we're making a major commitment with $700 million plus dollars to do as much as we possibly can. And my guess is that the next capital plan will also contain funds for doing the same. So we are working on it. So thank you for bringing that up. You're right. And of course, all of our new buildings are completely accessible. Anything we build, even in addition to an old building too, totally accessible, and any brand new standalone building accessible as well, because we know much better now. So thank you, Ms. Rivera. I appreciate the question.
We also have a question in the chat. What if a school needs to be relocated? This is from Wanda, not sure if there's a specific school she's mentioning.
Can you be a little more specific? What if a school relocations are handled by the DOE, not the SCA? So I'd have to know a little bit more about the particulars. I'm not sure about that.
If the school is really small and they don't have that much space, and we're looking for like have a little bit more space to have like instead of having a cafeteria, gymnasium, auditorium squished into one area, and we want to have a little bit more space.
Mm-hmm.
And the school is located right underneath the train tracks, and we don't want, I don't know, I'm a very pessimist, and one train track or something derail or something happening, and the school is a dangerous area. What about finding another school with a little bit more space?
Got you. Well, that, I mean, my guess is my hope, and what borough or what school district are you talking about?
That's in the Bronx. It's District 75.
Oh, okay, a full District 75 building. Got you.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest challenges, of course, is finding any space at all to move a whole school. But I know that that it has happened, and that's definitely an issue that your superintendent should bring up at the SCA. Probably it's already out there. I may not be aware of those conversations. Lots happens without my knowledge at the SCA at high levels. So that building may very well be in the works, some sort of move. But it is a huge challenge to find any kind of space at all. But we do look all the time for new and better facilities, and sometimes existing schools do get moved to new buildings. So I'm not sure of the situation with that school, but that's something I hope that you're talking with your superintendent and people at the DOE about doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. From Rosa from the chat is inquire about if there's a project for the Lewis and Clark School that has 2 buildings. Students have to walk in space to get from one building to another in the rain or etc.
I'm not aware of that project, but there could be one. I'm happy to check on that, and I'm taking notes right now. And Amy, I can get back to you on whether and where is that school?
I believe it's in the Bronx,
Okay.
possibly in District 11.
Okay.
Over 11.
I will find out from my colleague who handles the Bronx and see whether there's any project there. And Amy, I'll get back to you with that answer, and hopefully you can pass it on to the person who asked the question.
Sure, thank you. Again, Councilmember Spencer had put in the chat, that any questions or any statements that you want to share with us so that we can share with SCA, School Construction Authority, please do so. And D75 council@schools.nyc.gov. Again, it's in the chat. We will go to our interpretation rooms. Spanish interpreter and the Mandarin interpreters. Can you please check your lines and see if there's any questions from participants?
Sure, one second. I asked on the Spanish line, but I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anyone there.
Mandarin interpretation?
No, I didn't hear any question from the Mandarin chat.
Thank you. Is there any other questions or comments? If you don't have any right now, again, you can also email to us. We have the materials that Samara shared, will be publicly shared out soon. Again, Councilmember Spencer, I see your hand up.
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. Yeah, I just want to piggyback with what Ms. Smith said in reference to there are those that have questions regarding upgrades and things of that nature. It's important that parents that you stay in touch with your PAs and PTAs, get them involved, because the council here, we interact with the principals, and you guys have to work it out with your PA, PTA, SLT, and the principals. Get you guys meeting in a SLT. Get your game plan together, and then present that to us through the principal, and then we could bring that up through the SCA. So yes, yeah, get us to email us to see what the issues are and the challenges are, so that way we're aware of it. But the official line of communication is get it into your SLT, get it to your principal, and your principal will get to us, and then we'll bring it to the SCA. So I just want to shine some light on that. And yeah, like I said, D75 council@schools.nyc.gov. And there may be more to say later on in this meeting, because we have some other stuff to talk about, but I'll leave it right there for right now. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. I just wanted to, and Amy, I wanted to mention also a good place to see what capital projects have already happened and are upcoming is our capital plan. So I'm putting that in the chat right now, our website. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Whoops. I'm so sorry. I misspelled it. I'm sorry. nycsca.org. So the capital plan is there. It's huge, of course, but you can go to the link and look in the plan. And at the back of the plan is a list by district, by school district. And it shows projects that have been done in the last few years and that are upcoming by school. So that's a really great way for parents to be in touch with what has happened in their schools and what's upcoming. And that's, and of course, whenever projects do happen, we meet regularly with the principal. We have UFT protocol meetings. We have all kinds of ways of letting the school know what's happening in their school buildings. But I want to thank you so much for inviting me today. And this, please do feel free, if you have a list of questions, just send it to me. I'll give you my email again. And I am happy to answer them and get back to you as soon as I can with any information, not just this week, but any week at all. I'm available for
Thank you. Before you leave, Tamara, can you just sum up what is the difference between the works of the projects between School Construction Authority and the Office of Facilitations? I know that there are particular ones that you do not see, your team does not focus on. And also,
Amy, I'm losing that last word you're saying. The Office of, what is it?
The custodials.
Oh, correct.
Yes,
that's right.
So
yeah,
just to summarize the difference so that they have an idea of who to go to exactly for what particular renovations, upgrades that they need?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. I mentioned it a bit in my presentation, but it's always really good to mention it over and over again. DSF, this Division for School Facilities, which again is the custodians and all the central staff, is part of the DOE. And they handle day-to-day maintenance. So, you know, a handle breaks on a door, a window, you can't open a window, a seat breaks in an auditorium, something in a bathroom's not working. That is not an SCA project, and it doesn't have to wait for us to become a huge capital plan. That is a maintenance issue, and it should go straight to your custodian and straight to the Division for School Facilities. If by chance they realize that a problem has become much, much larger than they can fix, it may become an SCA project. But that is really the difference. The SCA deals with enormous systems upgrades. So if the roof needs to be completely repaired or replaced, that's the SCA's job. If something small in a school needs to be repaired, that's when you would go to your custodian. They put in a job ticket, and DSF can repair it. So lots of things can go to custodians and to DSF to repair.
Thank you so much for the presentation and your presence here in our meeting tonight. Again, all of the information Tamara and the council has provided in the chat. So we look forward to what the results are, Tamara and your team. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a great night. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
We will go to our monthly report from our District 75 Superintendent, Rusong. I do see him here and his team as well. So I don't know if you're ready, but you can unmute yourself. Superintendent?
Good evening, Amy. I was just trying to unmute myself, and it took me a minute there. How are you? Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. It's always a pleasure to be with you and to share updates about District 75, a district that you all care for, you all love, and a district that is really happy to count people like you as members of our District 75 family. So I know not to take too much time, but I have a lot of updates I would like to share with you. So I'm gonna try to do that as fast as I can. You know, we have been talking a lot about Special Olympics. I just want to advise you that we have now 21 new schools that we have signed to participate in Special Olympics. And they will be involved in sport like basketball, volleyball, track and field. And training will be conducted for all new and existing schools in the coming weeks. As you know, one other aspect of Special Olympics is the unified sport leagues. And in the past, we only had 5 schools in District 75 participating in unified sport. But right now we have 14 new schools that will be participating in unified sport with their co-located school. Those schools are, I am hoping one of them will be your school, 721X in Lehman High School, 188X in Mott Haven at the Mott Haven campus there, 176X in Truman High School, 811K in Morrow High School, 370K in Grady High School, 53K in Lincoln High School, 752Q in High School for Law Enforcement and Public Safety. 177Q will be partnering with Van Buren Campus. 721Q will be partnering with Maspeth High School. 721R will be with Petridis High School, and 35M will be collaborating with Beacon High School. 993Q will be with Long Island City High School and Frank Sinatra High School, and 371K will be in Unified Sport with Sunset Park High School. All of those schools are looking forward to having our students playing with their Gen peers, and we know it is really, if you have not seen a unified sport event, if you have not been part of one, we encourage you whenever we start for you to make plan to really go see our student in action. You will not know who is District 75, who is not, because they're all involved and they're all playing well. And we are also having, as we had shared with you before, a collaboration with the YMCA, and this time we have some District 75 middle school and high school students. They will have the opportunity to participate in the Learn to Swim program. And the following school are schools that are participating in the program. Please know, when we having new initiative, we start with a group of school and then we expand it, we include more school. But for now, since this is a pilot, the following school will be participating in it: 596X, 373K, 53K, 226M, 79M, 811Q, 37R, 721R. And those schools will be in addition to 176X and 721K that were already involved with the YMCA. We feel that swimming is a good sport and thing and skill for our students to have. Many times, you know, during the summer, we go to the beach, we go to the pool. It's good to learn and know how to swim. So we will have in District 75 over 100 students that will be participating during the winter and spring, and the program will begin this January and will end in June. We are also looking forward to celebrate neurodiversity in District 75 for the first time. We are happy to announce that we will be collaborating with a team of parents to start co-planning with us from the beginning. So we will continue to really lift up our students that are on the spectrum and students that also have other special needs, just to make sure that they are really included and their needs can be addressed at high level. The Fathers Initiative, we have discussed that briefly with you at our last meeting, is back, and we will be reaching out to our parent leaders for support in planning this initiative. As you know, we had created this program maybe 4 years ago to ensure that we are bringing our fathers to the forefront and to the core of everything we do in District 75. This is not to say that our mothers will ever be on the side, but we want to lift fathers, and we want to target that specific group to bring them into into all the activities that we are engaging in District 75. During my superintendent learning and listening tours, one of the recommendation and advice that our parent gave us was that we needed to have some music and dance program in District 75 because many of their children love music, they love to dance. I have the pleasure to tell you that we have heeded their call, and we are creating a weekend music program in District 75. We are investing some of our funding to ensure that we have a music program over the weekend in each one of our 5 boroughs. We had sent surveys to our families, and I'm pleased to tell you that we have over 2,100 families have responded to the survey. So you can tell there is a need, there is a desire from you to really to really for us to afford music and dance to your children. The program will be a 6-week program, and we are looking to start it beginning March. I am also very happy to remind you that beside those programs I just spoke about, we are also deepening our after-school program work. We have currently 46 schools across District 75 that are running after-school programs. We have 11 in the Bronx, 15 in Brooklyn, 7 in Manhattan, 9 schools in Queens, and 4 schools on Staten Island. After school program is very beneficial to our students because they get to learn new skills, they get to acquire new knowledge, and we want to make sure we continue to offer them access to after school program. We have a new initiative, brand new in District 75 is Miracle Morning. We feel that, look, although we seem to be a little bit more relaxed with the pandemic, we do know that we really have had a lot of our students that had suffered a lot during the pandemic. So this program is a practical daily mindfulness and motivation routine that will reduce stress, enhance resiliency, and improve learning and life outcomes for our students. We are really investing also a big part of our District 75 funding because we feel that it will support the social emotional well-being of not only our students, but our staff. It will improve their wellness, and it will positively impact student achievement. And so those are some of the things we are doing currently at the district office and across the 5 boroughs. And so we will be here to entertain some questions, some concern you may have, and more recommendation for us as we continue to do this work together. I'm gonna transition our remarks now to Deputy Superintendent Shirley Kleinberg that will share some instructional updates with you. Shirley?
Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to be here as always with all of you this evening. I would like to share just a few brief additional updates on top of the many items that the superintendent has just shared. Our middle of year academic screener assessment window is currently open. So schools are engaging in the middle of year assessments with their students using the screener tools that have been made available by the Department of Education that have been assessed to best support each student's individualized needs. They are going to be screening students within schools from now through February 10th. So you will likely be hearing from your child's teacher about the work that they are doing with these screeners and the results that they are finding when you have opportunities to speak with your child's teacher about their educational process. We are very excited to be able to compare the middle of year screener results to beginning of the year screeners in order to see the gains that students have made and also to be able to engage in the necessary decision making and goal setting for not only the remainder of this year, but moving towards next year, 2023-24. And this will also continue to support school teams in aligning students' instruction to their IEP goals, their ELA and math instruction, and all of the applications across the content. We have shared our events calendar with our council members and will be sharing a revised document coming up in February with all of the many exciting things that will be happening over the course of the rest of the school year to celebrate the learning and accomplishments of our students. Some highlights of that calendar will be the District 75 Film Festival taking place on April 19th, our district poetry event, which will take place on April 26th at Baruch College, our district spelling bee at P94M, which will take place on May 16th for middle school and May 17th for high school, and our annual art show, which will be run during the month of May. Additionally, we will have our STEM fair taking place on May 23rd at the Intrepid Museum, and our Samuel Stern Awards, celebrating also the accomplishments of our students on May 25th at Baruch College. So you will receive more information on all of these events as they get closer and as more information becomes available. But please do start marking your calendars. It's always such a joy to be able to celebrate the many wonderful accomplishments of our students. And we will now move on to some health updates from Deputy Superintendent Dr. Adam Breyer.
Thank you. So nothing new specifically, but since this is still obviously an issue, we wanted to bring to you some information about, what the DOE is asking of all of us during what is still the COVID-19 pandemic. So please know that universal indoor masking at this point is a recommendation. There is no mandate for all indoor settings, right? So there's a recommendation in place for all indoor settings, including schools and daycare centers. Students and staff, regardless of vaccination status, must wear a mask. So there are some moments when masks must be worn, and those are when that individual is returning to school on the 6th day after testing positive for COVID-19 through day 10 after symptoms began, or the date of the positive test, whichever is earlier. including when traveling on a school bus. Masks may be removed during this period if the person has received 2 rapid tests that were negative 48 hours apart. Also, when entering the school medical room, nurse's office, or school-based health center, or exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19 at school. So those are the times when a mask must still be worn. Students and staff, regardless of vaccination status, again, are strongly recommended to wear a mask when exposed to someone with COVID-19, whether the exposure occurred in school or outside of school. The person should wear a mask for 10 days after their last day of exposure. And again, get tested twice, at least 48 hours apart. Also, when they are moderately to severely immunocompromised, and masking is recommended by their healthcare provider. Or, of course, when in crowded outdoor settings. I also want to share that the vaccine mandates remain in place. So thank you. And I am now going to give the floor to, I believe, Shona Gibson, who will be speaking about attendance.
Good evening, council members. It's very nice to see you and Happy New Year to those of you I've not seen. Just very briefly on attendance, we continue to increase our attendance rates. They're still not where we would like them to be. Our overall attendance is 80.6%, which is up 10 percentage points from our first day of school. January, I think the combination of RSV and a couple of other issues, we dropped a little bit to 76.3%, but overall we are trending up over the course of the year. I'm going to ask you to get the word out to all of your friends and to your peers in the school community. Please send your kids to school. We love to see them. This is one of the reasons why we're doing as many of our enrichment activities in addition to all of the great things that we're doing during the school years, during the school day. We want to see your kids. We want them with us. So and if you are having problems getting to school, make sure that you let your principal and that team know, and we will help to resolve those issues, however they are presenting. So that's a very brief update on attendance, and I'm happy to turn it over to Sasha to talk about family engagement.
So I am going to step in to go ahead and convey on Sasha and the Family Empowerment Team's behalf our family engagement information for this evening. We have 3 current parent coordinator vacancies in District 75, 1 in Brooklyn, 1 in Queens, and 1 in Staten Island. Our Base and District 75 teams are working closely on collaborating to increase NICSA registration. This has been a very big push of the district all year long. The new NYC School Account Portal has many opportunities for families to access information. It allows opportunities for those of you that would like to learn more to see your students' grades, test scores, and other student-related data. It allows the opportunity to take classes in Parent University, report incidents of concern, such as bullying reports, access forms for your child. It gives you the ability to reset your child's DOE account password and access the support hub. And we have many opportunities for parents to get assistance at the school level in registering for NICSA accounts. So if you are in need of access, please do reach out to your school or your parent coordinator for assistance. Currently, anyone wishing to run for office on any of the city educational councils will also want to have access to their Nixa account to be able to apply. And we do encourage those applications. We also want you to know that our district is continuing to support school parent associations and school leadership teams in any ways that are needed. So they are continuing to interface with those teams. And we are also very excited to be continuing to update all of our social media accounts and to continue to send home notices in a variety of modalities, including the Remind app. So please make sure to like and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as we continue to dive deeper into the digital age. And regarding related services, we continue to work very rigorously under the direction and support of our many supervisors of related services and school-based related service teams to serve over 11,000 mandates in counseling, over 370 in hearing education services, almost 20,000 occupational therapy mandates, over 8,000 physical therapy mandates, over 31,000 speech mandates, and almost 300 vision mandates across our 360 plus schools. We continue to work with our agency partners and independent RSA providers under the direction of Angela Torres to support and serve students who are not currently receiving their services by DOE providers. And we will continue to support our families who do have RSA letters issued to be able to make outreach to link families with providers. And that is it for our updates. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deputy Kleinberg, and the team of the District 75. I would like just to also, if you can give the website that the district office has launched late December. Will you be sharing all of the events coming up this spring on that platform as well, so that families and communities can see that as well? Kettler, Lusant, or
yes, we will absolutely do that. I mean, not only we'll share it on the website, we will also share it in our social media account, because look, there is no successful event without the inclusion and participation of our parents. So we want to make sure everything is shared, everything is published, so we can have as great a participation as possible. Absolutely. I also saw a question in the chat. I don't know, Ms. Co-President, if you would allow me to respond.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, it says if dance or music is located on the weekend, one in each borough, can you think about locating them in places where students have limited access? For example, here in Far Rockaway, I find that most programs that I am interested in are located in Central Queens. I have a car, but many others do not. That is so true. What we will do, we will continue to work with our team involving Sasha English and her team to reach out to our two principals in the Far Rockaway, Robert Lopez, 256Q, and Debbie Edmonds, 233Q and to see what we can do in the peninsula. All of our students are important to us, no matter where they are, and we will try our utmost to ensure that we can really support.
Thank you. We have a hand up, and it is our former council member of Citywide Council for District 75 and parent of District 75, Giselle. Unmute yourself. Miss Cardona.
Okay, I forgot how to unmute and mute on this phone. Jesus Christ. You guys can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I have a concern, right? I hear that you guys are saying the attendance, bring the kids into school and stuff, but specifically for my case, the school has called me on several occasions, because, you know, my son's in kindergarten, but it was more like a cry to pick him up versus him staying in the school. So I've asked the school numerous times what I can do as far as to try to help them, but a lot of the feedback was it sounds to me like they're not interested in trying to help my kid out. And I know that he does have some issues and stuff like that, but I just don't think it's fair. Like he was sick and everything. He missed school for like 2 weeks. And then now they called me last week telling me, oh, he has this going on. He can't come in until blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I already got that checked out. To me, it just sounds like they don't want to deal with him. So I have a problem. And I don't know how or who to talk to about it, but I'm just saying it publicly because I'm about frustrated. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Well, first of all, hi, Grizel. It's really nice to see you.
Hey.
Hey. Second of all, I'm going to drop my email into the chat and you can just email me and we can discuss the specifics. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Because I was even thinking about switching his school because I felt like, there were some things that were said on Class Dojo that I wasn't okay with. So I definitely want to have a conversation.
Okay. Well, I just popped that into the chat.
Okay.
So shoot me an email and shoot me your telephone number and we can chat sometime this week. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Great. Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you too.
Thank you. We have a hand up from our PEP member, CC Representative Tom Shepard. Go ahead, Tom.
So, hey y'all, good evening. Happy New Year. I dropped it in the chat, like, shh, don't tell anybody, but this is one of my favorite councils. And one of the reasons for it is you are like staunch advocates for students with disabilities, right? Like we cannot have real conversation about students with disabilities and not include our District 75 council. So I wanted to start there and just say thank you for all the work you do. I do want to share a couple of things. The first is as of 3 days ago, I am no longer representing all 32 CECs in the city. So changed the state law, took the one seat that I had for 2.5 years and turned it into 5. So now we have 5 CEC presidents, representatives, one from each borough. So I am excited to, have 4 more members representing parents. And I'm also excited that on our CECs, we're going to have representation from District 75. I think it is long overdue. We have, we have conversations about our students with disabilities, but we don't have those conversations in the context of our CECs. Or let me rephrase that, because I think that would not be accurate. I think we're not having those conversations in the context of our CECs in the way that they should be happening, right? In a way that includes our students with disabilities rather than exclude them. So I'm excited, and I challenge all of you not just to run for a seat on the District 75 Council, but reach out to your friends, right? Like your neighbors, your kids, your students' friends, right? Like all of you who share this experience called raising a child with a disability, and encourage them to run for a CEC seat or to run for a District 75 council seat. I think that is very, very important. And there are two more things. One, I have the honor, I was looking and saw Marjorie Dienstag. She's one of my colleagues on PEP and a staunch District 75 supporter as well. So I wanted to acknowledge Marjorie, and I want to say, thank you, all of you, for really doing what you do. The last thing that I wanted to bring up is in the Bronx, and since I represent the Bronx now, I think it's important that as we have conversations about students with disabilities, that we understand where there are real gaps. And in the Bronx, there are really big gaps in where our District 75 programs are, right? And I mean, we've had conversations about our babies being on buses for, sometimes hours on end just to get to school. And, those things live disproportionately in our neediest communities, right? Because our neediest communities generally don't provide the level of service to our students that we need. And so I say all of that because in District 11, we are dealing with a co-location, a proposed co-location. And this district, this school in District 11 lives in one of the poorest areas of District 11. And the school does amazing work, right? But the reality of it is that when you look at District 11, there's real distance between our District 75 programs. And what we wanted to do, or one of the things that the principals of the Richard R. Green campus wanted to do or were considering, is having a conversation about how do we expand access to our students with disabilities, right? And, that conversation is one that I wholeheartedly believe that needs you. But that conversation can happen if a Success Academy comes into the building and literally takes over all the space. And so one of the things that I sent to the council, and where's Teresa Roberts? She is the president of the CEC for District 11, and has really been working hard to keep the Success Academy out of this building so that we can provide the service and support that our students need, including expanded access to District 75 programs, ICT, more ICT classes, more special education space, right? Like all of the things that our students need, we are advocating for, but we can't do it with this co-location or this forced co-location of a Success Academy. If that happens, that conversation, it pretty much ends. So I gave, forwarded a resolution, and I'm asking for District 75 support to support District 11 by opposing this forced co-location. And Amy, I'm going to ask if you have it. Do you mind distributing it to all of the members? And I'm really going to read the resolved parts, right? Because there's a lot. This resolution is
Tom,
like 2 pages.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna get to that after this.
Oh, sorry about that. My
Yeah, so
bad.
if we can, if you can kind of wait till we go out
Sure.
and we do have some questions.
Sorry about that.
No
You
problem,
see, I'm
Tom.
just pushing it, but thank you. I'm going to wrap up, but I really want to say thank you. I appreciate the support over the years. Y'all know I'm with you. You know, I got you. Kettler, we got to sit down and catch up, but thank all of you. And if there's anything you need from me, please, y'all know me, y'all got my number, reach out and I'll be there. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. And stick around. Before we have our next hands go up, I just wanted to raise a question from the chat from Dorothy. Hello, I have a question regarding protocols with school buses when children are having behavior issues or meltdowns on school bus routes. What constitutes a behavior para for a child who has special needs? Kettler or your team can answer that question.
One second, Amy.
We hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me. All right. I just want to read the question too. Okay. When a student is on the bus and let me just read it. I have a question regarding protocol with school buses when children are having behavior issues or meltdown on school bus routes. What constitute a behavior para for a child who has special needs? Obviously, we want every bus ride to be safe, right, and orderly for all of our students. But we do understand for a variety of reasons, a child may have a meltdown or just a behavioral episode. We just do not just assign a behavior or a special transportation para just because the child has a meltdown or just a few incidents, right? We try to, when the matron report on the incident, we try to work with the student, provided we provide the student with strategies possible to manage the behavior, and if that is not something we can do, depending on the cognitive level of the student, we will then get a team together to look at the behavior. But the change to add a behavior para is something that has to be done through the student IEPs, but that's something, if we have to do it, we will do it because we want all of our students to be successful, not only while they are in the school, but also while they are riding home to be safe. So that's something the school team can consider.
Thank you, Superintendent. We will go to our hand raised, Councilmember Spencer.
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. Got it. Thank you. Great to see you. Happy New Year, Superintendent and team. Great to see you guys. There's two things I want to request for our next meeting on the 8th of February. If you guys could provide some context in reference to the screeners. I've mentioned during this term, most notably toward the end, and not only me, I don't want to say it's just me, the rest of my council members, specifically Secretary Montalvan, in reference to how our students are recovering from COVID and then how they're placed through the summer, where I know it was rough coming in out of COVID 2 years ago. Last year, we still had some challenges in terms of assessing students' needs, especially if the students are siblings and if they're getting the services that they need during the summer close to home. So I was wondering if maybe, I don't know if you're going to be able to provide further context or a follow-up on February 8th, but maybe that's something you'll work with the council behind the scenes. But I would like to see how these screeners set up the summer, so that way this summer isn't as rough as the last 2 summers. I just want to use that as a general statement, because I know time is of the essence. Also, number 2, being that my daughter is a senior in high school, and how proud I am, and my family is, regarding how D75 has gotten her to this point. I don't want to go into it, but I think there's a transition. I'd like to know some of the efforts in D75 in terms of transition from secondary school to post D75, in terms of what efforts are we. I know my wife more than me because I work, she's done her part in terms of setting my daughter up in terms of what needs to happen. And I would like you guys to speak more in terms of how we're getting our kids that's aging out, either 18 or 21, how are they getting into getting this, how you guys are leading parents, especially those that might not have English as a first language, getting those parents to that point, getting them out of smooth transition out of D75 and getting the support that they need, in addition to maybe OPWDD, or if they have it or not. So hopefully you guys will be able to speak to those two preparations at our next meeting on the 8th. Thanks so much.
Thank you. We do have a question in regards to after school busing in the chat. Superintendent Lasant, I don't know if one of your team members want to address it in the chat, but we do have hands, so I want to respect everyone's space and been waiting. So we will go to hand up for Sandra. Sandra, if you're there, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. I want to say thank you for everyone to be here and listen to a lot of parents' concerns. I myself am a parent of a special needs child, and my daughter Roxanne is in a D75 school. And with some of the issues that have been happening in her school, I can say on my experience, which I don't know if a lot of districts are really being notified firsthand from parents, is that there's a lack of support, no matter if a parent does have some concerns. And it's almost as if we're bothering the schools, we're bothering the instructors, we're bothering the therapists, and our voices are not being heard. Myself, I advocate for some parents that have children on the spectrum, and I find it very difficult to advocate for my child. And some of the concerns also has been the bus issue. There's been several complaints, several incident reports, and they aren't working with the schools as Mr. Lucent stated they should. They're not working with the parents. I haven't even been offered a behavioral para, and there have been over 15 complaints and incidents filed against my child, which I have not known about. They have not worked on any coping strategies. They're forgetting those are the key values of any child on the spectrum, to go back into coping strategies, having them self-regulate. They're ignoring us parents of what we first learned straight out of early intervention. And it's unfortunate because, the more complaints I make, it's the more of lack of support I'm actually getting. I'm now becoming a nagging parent versus being concerned that my daughter is now having physical aggressive behavior with a matron and a matron or just being on the bus. And it's it's pouring into her school lessons because after she gets off the bus, that doesn't mean she's going to be calm. So throughout the whole school day, she's extremely dysregulated. And I try to express the concerns with the counselor and school. And sometimes, I feel like the teacher is helping, but her counselor especially is saying, well, those behaviors are not being exhibited in a 30-minute session I'm having with her in my office, so I cannot address them. And I find that very unfortunate because they always say what happens in school, we will address. What happens at home, you have to get outside services for that. So this is a concern that's happening with my child in the school, in the districts, and they're not helping. Another thing that I wanted to address is that her recent assessments were done in December for her IEP annual meeting. And after seeing her developmental pediatrician, I was made aware that my daughter's scoring very high on the spectrum and her IQ rate is very high. But the schools are not trying to work with parents that do fall into that category and offer additional resources. They're not educating the parents, as it says parent education is supposed to be on the IEP. They're just too busy to help parents. They're rushing through their day, and it feels like parents are not a part of the team anymore. And that's why I strongly advocate for parents with children and adults on the spectrum, because I feel like our voices are completely forgotten now. And we are the #1 advocates for our children. And I feel like there is no channel or person to write to. I've, sometimes have emailed the counselor and his secretary or the district supervisor, and I have not gotten a response. And there'll be several incidents of emails, several paper trails. I feel like parents are being forgotten as one of the teammates. And I wish there was something that can be done for that, because I think, it starts at home and it goes into school, and unless we're involved, we can't be beneficial to our children's progress. And I would hope that some of the councilmen would address that to all the districts, all the schools, to really have parent involvement be important, and for our voices to be heard and not to be ignored if our child is going through a bad time. It's that some behaviors are not permanent. It can be just a change in transition or a new setting that can but that should not just be ignored. And I would hope that someone here is hearing this statement and reaching out to the schools. My school is PS 368 at 67. And just to make parent involvement be important and heard and not ignored. Thank you.
I don't know if you want me to respond or.
Absolutely. I'm open to it.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Bonaventure, let me just start by owning up to anything you said tonight. It is our responsibility to really be responsive to parent issues and concern. I am really apologizing to you if you have not received the support that you requested from the school. I know sometime the counselor or the teachers may not be observing or experiencing your daughter the same way, but I know also Principal Maureen is a really strong advocate for her children, and I promise you that we will absolutely follow up with her to go to find out what the situation is, and you will get a response from the school. proud ourselves. We pride ourselves as a district to the way we connect with our families. We're not perfect, but we are always trying to improve on our practices, on our approaches, and on the way we interact with our families. We know that whenever you call on us, whenever a parent requests our support, we should be ready to provide that support. That is something we have shared with all of our principal at principal meeting everywhere and all the time, and we will certainly follow up with 368 to make sure the school reach out to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a hand up from Rosalind. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Hi. Good evening, everyone. So I'm also a parent, and I did agree with everything Sandra had mentioned. I'm having difficulties as far as the busing situation. My son has not been in school since the second week of September. I've given every document from his doctors that I needed to give in, and still, since September, I have not heard anything. I've written to many people, even his school I try to get in contact with. Sometimes they pick up, sometimes they're just too busy, just like she said. And I'm reaching out to different services now. Like I have a social worker working with me, trying to figure something out, and I'm just lost. Like, I don't know what else to do. He's receiving services outside because that's where I had to put him at because he's not in school.
Ms. Reyes, is it the same school or a different school?
It's no, it's a different school. It's 138 at 90 in Manhattan.
Okay. All right, we will personally reach out to Principal Jager. Have you met the new principal?
I have not. I have not.
So I know also she is really very responsive. I want to make sure that your concern have been shared with the appropriate people that can really address it. And we will make sure that the school does follow up with you. I am really a little bit not a happy place now because we want to make sure all of our school communities are responsive, are helpful, and provide as much assistance as possible. And we will certainly reach out to both schools.
All right, thank you so much.
Sure, of course.
Thank you. It is 8:17 p.m. Before I give this space to Co-President Green, I'd like just to ask the interpretation rooms, the Spanish and the Mandarin lines, if there's any participations and if there's any questions.
Okay. What would be for
Spanish.
There's no Spanish questions at this moment.
Thank you. Mandarin interpretation room.
Hi, I was disconnected from the language line. So can anybody let me inside the line again?
Sure. We'll give it a minute. And then we'll go to, thank you. We'll go to Co-President Green, your hands up.
Thank you. I just had a clarifying question for Ms. I think it's Bonaventure. I'm not sure if that's the correct last name, but the parent that was saying the school was 368 at 67. Because 368 has a different principal and they don't have 67, and 369 does have 67. So I'm just trying to figure out which school exactly.
I'm sorry, I might, it's on 55 St. Edwards. I might be
Okay,
getting,
so you're,
yeah,
so
sorry.
I'm just for the record, because I am just so you know,
Yes,
I've actually been a parent in both schools. I'm no
Okay.
longer those two schools. I'm in a different D75 now, but yes, my children did attend that site and also 368. So 368 would be Miss Peter as the principal, but 369 would be Miss Dalrymple. So I just wanted to make sure we have the right.
Thank you for that correction.
The
I
right
apologize.
organization, you know? So, but you're talking about, yes, 67 is at 51 St. Edwards. Okay, one of the things too, I'm gonna let you know is that for a while, what you might be getting is that the parent coordinator was out for like close to a year and stuff. So I think she's back now. So I think there'll be more because she does do a lot of stuff at 67. So hopefully that will help this year at some point, you know, upon, you know, because she's returned. But I know that they were at one point without that extra help that they needed.
Yeah, I apologize. I completely understand what you're saying, but you know, my daughter has been in school since September, and there's been several incident reports that she has been physically removed from a bus. This is a 7-year-old child, physically removed from a bus. The bus got in a car accident. There's just several. Regardless of a family, someone should have been there. Someone should you know, be there, because at the end of the day, I have to worry about my child. Someone should have talked to me. There's too many incidents, too many incident reports. I've reached out to them.
I agree with you.
Never.
I do.
Never offered a para. You know, she's come home, you know, extremely upset, extremely to the point that I've gotten her a smartwatch just so I can calm her down on the bus. But what I'm trying to stress, and I hope every council person understands this, is that when we place our children into these schools, we're depending on the support of the school. I am not a licensed therapist. Thank God that I have been educating myself since my daughter's been diagnosed, and I attend several webinars and got my certificates and CDCs, and I have medical background, but there's not a lot of parents that are like me, and that's why I'm a parent advocate. But my child's experience, no matter what staff was not there, should have never happened. Not for the long periods of time that has been happening. And so that's why I wanted to keep my voice open this night, because I do not think it's reaching you guys up above. You guys are not hearing about these at every single school, these one particular incidents. I am one of many of parents that are saying this is happening. So my one case has not been heard, over 15 incident reports on a school bus. I find that very, you know, alarming. And so it's sad to know that I have to speak up now for people at the district to hear my voice, but I've been speaking up to the people I should have spoken up to, my daughter's school. That's my go-to people. I shouldn't have to go through so many channels just to get help, and neither should my child.
I agree with you, but I'm really happy that you were here and that you were able to tell us about this, and we will definitely follow up with you and assist you in any way that we can.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Co-President Green. Is there any other questions and comments to the superintendent and his team? Do you want to
I know,
ask Keller?
Amy, that Ms. Gibson, you know, who is supporting the district with transportation, is probably a little bit more familiar with the issues. I don't know if she wants to contribute to the conversation. Shona?
Ms. Reyes, I know that you were at the transportation subcommittee yesterday and started doing a little bit of research. So we will be reaching out to you tomorrow about that. And of course, with the other issue, Ms. Bonaventure, I'll work with you, Superintendent, to work out the transportation issues as we liaison with the Office of Pupil Transportation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any hands up or any council member hands up. So we just like to ask that Superintendent Assange, if you can put either your contact or Shona's or any of your team members in the chat, so that if any parents and community members want to reach out to you, they can.
Sure.
And we
Sasha will do
appreciate
that momentarily.
Thank you, and we appreciate your time this evening. And please utilize our space to share out all the events upcoming as we come in person from a pandemic. We're really excited that we want parents to participate and students as well. So thank you so much. And on behalf of Citywide Council for District 75, again, Happy New Year's and best wishes to everyone here in 2023. If you guys want to stick around, feel free to, but you're not obligated to. I know it's been a long day. I just want to check in with the Mandarin interpretation line. Are you able to access your line?
Yes.
Thank you. We are going to the next item for this evening. And again, we will come back to our PEP member, Tom Shepherd. So I will, give me a second. I will share my screen.
Miss Tsai?
Yes.
If I'd love to see the parents stay for the presentation, because I think it's important that they know that the elections are running. So if you don't mind, if they would, if I
Sure,
get
no
them to
problem.
stay, thanks. And if when you get a moment, can you make me a co-host when we're ready to do the presentation?
Yeah, do you want to step in now? We're really kind of behind with time because there's just so much that was shared out today. But if
No
you
worries.
keep it
Absolutely. My presentation is simple from the heart and right to the point.
Sure. So I will make you a co-host now, and then you
Thank
should be
you.
able to share. Thank you so much, Gloria Corsino from Family
Okay.
and Engagement.
All right. All right. All right, hold on one second. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gloria Corsino. I am a parent leader, former member of the CCD75 for 6 years, where I served for 3 as president, and then moved on to CCSE, where I proudly represented D75 families. Today, I'm a consultant on the elections 2023 campaign. I came onto the campaign because I believe that the value parents bring is so important. And if I can inspire you to run or encourage another D75 parent to run, then my goal will be a success. With that, I want to share that I'm a mom of 3 young men, all public school educated, 1 former general education student, and 2 adults on the autism spectrum who will forever be a part of the District 75 family. The purpose of my presentation today is to give you an overview of what education councils do, the roles they play in our children's education, and their overall importance to the community. By the time I reach the end of my presentation, my goal is to ensure that you will have all the information you need to apply for a D75 seat, either on the CCD75 Council or on the local CEC where your child attends their program. So, hold on. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. I'm not sure why this is giving me a hard time. Okay, sorry about that. All right. So what do education councils have to do with me? So education councils help improve our schools. They strengthen school communities and promote student achievement to make our public schools the best they can be. If you choose to be a candidate or vote for the best candidate, it is important to find out about the CECs. The best thing I can always recommend someone is that they attend the CEC meeting in their district or a citywide meeting, and I will tell you how shortly. And if you guys are here, you already know how to get here. So last year, we were lucky that CEC members successfully lobbied for a change to the state law to make a community education council more inclusive. Now, all our D75 parents will elect a representative to the council where their students' program is located and elect the members of the District 75 Citywide Education Council. This is an amazing opportunity for our families and students to now work with our colleagues in community education councils and share all that their programs offer in that community. So, obviously, we all know that there's 36 education councils. 32 of them are filtered out across the city in every school district. And then we have 4 citywides. Citywide Council on High Schools, English Language Learners, CCSE, and students in District 75 programs, of which you are attending. So thank you for coming tonight. So So council compositions, as you can see, citywides all have 11 members, except for citywide council on high schools because they have 13. The rest now will have 12 voting members. 10 of them are elected, 1 seat for an English language learner parent, 1 for an IEP parent, and 1 for a District 75 seat. Now, what is the benefit of having a member on a CEC? All of our students don't go to a community school in our district, but we are not all able to do citywide as well. And that sometimes if there's a parent who can represent in their school district, if they don't get a seat on CCD 75, there's still a way to voice the concerns and the challenges, and also the resolutions that can happen in a community school for their District 75 program. So what do councils do? So as you can see, you guys have participated in this meeting. There's a lot of work that gets done. There's awareness that is brought to the superintendent. I'm glad to see Superintendent Louisant, Shona Gibson, some of my favorite people. We host town halls. We do educational policy improvements. We do have annual reports that we, on citywides, we do annual reports. And we hold these capital plan, which you had tonight. All right. So if you want to know more about the councils, best way to do it is to attend the CEC meeting, which you are doing today. All the councils have websites as well as informations on the DOE website, which is schools.nyc.gov. Now, as you can see, you guys are mainstreams or streamlined. So it's an easy fix right now, and you're attending and you're able to pop in and check in on this council and maybe the council where your child is, their program is housed. It gives you a better idea of how things are handled at a citywide as well as a community education council. And as you can see, questions are usually held to the end of the meeting, but you know what? I think District 75 is very inclusive. So you guys open the floor before the end of the meeting. That's a great thing. Obviously, this place is near and dear to me. So I'm always going to be impartial to District 75. Sorry about that. Oh, shoot. My apologies. Hold on. This is giving me a problem tonight. I apologize. All right, hold on. Let me go back to my presentation. Okay. All right. So who elects the council members? Well, as you can see, you guys are not only the candidates, and I heard a lot of great advocates speaking on here. So I hope that I'm going to see some of you on the campaign trail. Absolutely, parents, elected parents, these candidates, and if you choose not to be on the council, you still get to vote, and you get to vote.
Gloria, your presentation is not up.
Oh, sorry about that. My apologies. I'm not sure why it's not showing.
I'm here for you, Gloria.
Okay, Ilka, thank you. I
No
apologize,
problem.
guys. Ilka is my colleague and former CEC District 12 parent, and I apologize, not sure why this is actually giving me such a hard time. Okay, here I go. I apologize. You know what? I can actually share the rest of my presentation. I'm actually going to just speak from the heart. If you guys have NICSA, and I hope all of you do, the only way to run is on your NICSA. And if you just choose to vote, you can use your NICSA. I want to make sure that I get all those 32 seats available when that council, these councils open. I think it's time that we had more representation, and this is the absolute opportunity to show, our community education councils that we bring to the table a lot. We share a lot of things. We have amazing programs at District 75. And I think this is an opportunity. And I hear so many amazing voices as I hear you guys sharing your challenges. And I'm sorry that this is what you guys are experiencing. You know, you guys are bringing it to the right place. And there's a lot of great voices on here that can make those things change for the better. Thank you. It's great to see you too. I will definitely put my email in the chat. I will make sure that if you guys want to get a copy of this presentation, that you can reach out to me if you have any questions. We are also holding information forums for District 75 parents. And I would love to have you guys come on if you need any information, encouragement. Listen, there's a lot of amazing work that's done. And if we don't speak for our students, who does? And I can see it here. There's a lot of great candidates, and please, please, I'd love to see you guys in the campaign trail. All of these seats are open, and you know what? It's an opportunity to make a difference. My boys are grown and they're adult men, but I get to encourage you and inspire you if I can to do this great work. It is, like everything in our lives, challenging, but very rewarding. I wouldn't be here trying to do this and encourage you if I didn't believe that those were the most amazing years. Tom Shepard is my neighbor. Marjorie Green is someone I know very well. There's a lot of amazing people. Rima, too many. But I love the work that I did. I love being here with you guys, and I'm going to keep showing up, and I'm going to keep asking you to sign up. And if you have an EXA, go right to your phone, apply. You know, what's the worst that can happen? If at June, you know, when you get to June and you decide it's not for you, we'll work it out then. But now is the opportunity. We need those voices. Hi, Munchkin. How are you guys? But yeah, I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to come on here and share this moment with you. Our applications are open till February 13th. After that, we do the candidates preparation forms. After that, we do the forums, which you guys are going to be attending, and we'd love to make sure that you guys can see. And if you guys are candidates, you can see yourself. And after we do voting, after that, we do vetting, and then we do seating July 1st. So please, let's fill those seats. Let's show them that we're just as powerful, not only on a screen, but we are out there to do the work for these parents. Thank you again for this opportunity to present. I put my email in the chat. Thank you again, D75. Keep on doing the work. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gloria and Ilka, for being here this evening. Can you forward the presentation to the D75 Council? Appreciate
I sure
it.
will.
Thank you. And we will share it as well on all our platforms. I want to leave a little room to anyone who has questions for Gloria or Ilka. If not, we can move on to the next item.
Well, one of the questions that was in the chat, Gloria, was from Miss Sandra, who wanted to. Yes, she said, I would love to be a candidate. How?
Well, guess what? I put my email in the chat. Email me tomorrow. I'll make sure I get you everything, and I'll send the council as well. But absolutely, reach out. That sounded like some amazing advocacy, by the way. Anyone else? Now's the time. Come on, guys, talk.
I see Tom Shepard's PEP member has his hand up.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom.
I'll make it quick.
Yes.
So, you know, the person that just asked, well, you know, I'm interested in how, right? I think if we all look back on what got us here, right? Like we had our children, we had an experience in schools. We looked at how to resolve a particular issue. And then we asked ourselves a question. And the question was, well, if I'm dealing with this, how many other parents are dealing with this too?
Absolutely.
How many other students are dealing with this too? And then what you started to find was that you were not alone, that there were so many other people that shared the same types of experiences. And, you know, then it brought you into spaces where you were able to share your story and compare it with others. And then you started to get ideas and put those ideas together and really start to develop solutions. And then it was like, well, who do we share the solutions with, right? So I say all of that because, you know, everybody that's ever served on a council, you know, for those who are interested, can share a story about what got them here, right? And share their why. And I think that's the important part. And I think you will meet not just, you know, friends along the way, people that share your experience and will advocate with you, but you will also, and Gloria said it, this is hard work, right? It's exhausting. You will lose sleep at night. It's difficult. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat any of it, right?
Nope.
But the reward, as she said, like the benefit is worth the work that we put in. And, you know, the hope is, you know, that we leave the next generation a school system better than we found it, right? And, you know, if that's you, you know, sign up, right? If you don't know how to contribute, ask somebody. There's a whole room full of people here that I'm sure, you know, will share their story with you. And if you can't make the time commitment, right, then vote, right? Like we need your votes. We need you to step in and support the people that do run. So with that, I'm going to say, you know, I'm going to leave it there. But the last thing is, y'all feel kind of like a reunion tonight, right? Like
it does.
It
And
does.
if
It's a
I
good
can
feeling.
actually, if I can just share real quickly, one of the wonderful things, if I can walk away from that I can share that I actually got to do on this council, Celia Green, the co-chair on here, was my vice president when I was on the council. And she, together with Ms. Dienstag and a group of us, all worked together and became a special education group that started with the DOE in conversations, sitting across the table from each other. And by the time that we ended all of that work, we were hugging and kissing. Shona could tell you. Shona could share. And it was that was an amazing time. And we were able to advocate to get PCs trained in general ed buildings with the knowledge that D75 PCs have, because it wasn't the same. And I have to tell you, it was amazing. We created a cheat sheet, and it still actually lives in DOE, and I'll share that with you guys at one point. Amazing work, and collaboration never means concession. I can tell you that. I was, you know, I get to now sit and work in the building where I love some of these people. And you know what? We didn't always agree, but you know what? We came to solutions and we can get that done. And I think you guys can find the solution for many things that are coming. You guys have babies. You can change it. We can change the world. We made that promise to our children when we got those diagnoses. Now is the time to step up.
Gloria, you got a couple of questions in the chat.
Oh, sure.
So
read it for me.
So Rima says, are the CEC seats open now for D75 or next term?
I think it's next term. If I am correct, it is next term.
Okay. So Haya says, what's the difference between these seats, Citywide Council for District 75 and the Community Education Council 31 D75 seat?
So the difference is that if you get onto the Citywide Council for District 75, you'd be working in this capacity. Now, if working citywide finds itself to be a challenge, because if we go back to in person, the council would have to travel to every borough to represent every borough. And that may be a tough one for moms who are single moms. And we know that they have the passion, but they may be limited in their ability to have, you know, drag their child with them to a meeting to Staten Island, which requires a passport. I apologize, I'm teasing. But, you know, it is a tough one to get across. And if that you still want to be able to represent the needs of the school that your child is in. And let's say you live in District 20 but your child goes to school in District 15. You can sit on the District 15 as the D75 parent and still bring awareness, and you can still collaborate with the D75 Citywide Council. You would still have access to Kettler Louisant. It's still accessible, but it just gives you the ability to actually advocate closer to home if you have challenges that may not be able to give you the ability to serve citywide. A voice is a voice.
That's all I see in the chat.
Okay.
You mind if I
sure.
say one last thing, Gloria? And
Absolutely.
I love advocating, right?
Uh-huh.
But you know, I want to just share something really quickly with this group. You know, because I hear it said a lot that, you know, nobody listens to us, right? That you feel unheard. You feel like, you know, almost like you're screaming in the wind and nobody's listening. I want to share something with you. 2.5 years ago, when I was first elected by CEC presidents to serve on the city school board on the PEP, the conversation around District 75 schools was different, right? When we had conversations about changes in school utilization and we talked about adding a District 75 school to the mix, right? You had parents show up and will tell everybody, like, I ain't got no problem with District 75, but not in my backyard, not in my school. Like, that was a common conversation, right? And what I want to share with y'all is that your advocacy, you standing up and fighting for our most vulnerable children, our children with disabilities, our children who require services that they can't, that are not available in like our everyday school. Like, we want what you did, right, is create an environment now where whenever we talk about changes in utilization that requires or involves a District 75 school, I see so many schools now opening their arms up and embracing District 75 programs. And I didn't see that 2.5 years ago. And so when we sit back and we say, you know, nobody's listening, I'm telling you, people are listening, and they're listening because of you, because of your advocacy, because of what you brought into the space. And that's why I will always and very staunchly encourage all of you to continue that and get into this space in this arena to do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everyone here who are advocating. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
We do have a long agenda, so I apologize. If
No worries. I'm gonna jump off because I've actually been on the clock since 7:30 this morning, and this is my 4th meeting today. So, but thank you guys. Appreciate it. I hope to hear from you. I hope to see your applications, and I hope to see you guys out there on the trail. Trust me, we need you guys. So, good night. Good night to everyone here, to all the ones that I've known for a long, long time. I get great seeing you. If you're new, I hope to see you again soon. All right. Have a great night, guys.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you so much. We will need to go into our interpretation rooms, Spanish and Mandarin. Can you please check if there is any participants in the room?
There's no response in the Spanish line.
There's no response in the Mandarin line.
Thank you. Co-President Green, since there is no participation in those lines, can we relieve our interpreters for the evening?
Yes, we can, Co-President Tsai. Thank you both. Thank you, interpreters, for always coming out and always being ready at the ready, and for helping our parents and our families. And we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting in February.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The time is 8:48 p.m. Thank you. Have a good night. The next item for the council will be our guest speaker here, CC Representative Pep Member, former Tom Shepherd. Let me pull up. You can start, Tom, and I will pull up the resolution that you had drafted.
Thank you. So again, good evening, everyone. My name is Thomas Shepherd. I am the Bronx CEC President's representative on the panel for educational policy. I have 3 children living in the Bronx, and I am a parent of District 11. And there is a forced co-location of a Success Academy charter school happening or being proposed for the Richard R. Green campus, which is building 113. And thank you, Amy, for putting up the draft resolution. But I'm here tonight, and CEC President for District 11, Teresa Roberts, is here also. We're here tonight to really ask for your support. As I stated earlier, District 11 has some really unique needs, and a lot of those needs would be better addressed with more teachers and access to more space to provide the types of services that our students need. We have a higher than normal population, or higher than the city average. Let me not use the word normal. Higher than the city average population of students in temporary housing. We have a significant population of incoming migrant families. We have high population, or disproportionately high population, of students in poverty. And we do have a lot of students who require special education services and are in District 75 programs that have to do quite a bit of traveling. And so the schools that are in the Richard R. Green campus, there are 2 schools currently, the North Bronx School of Empowerment and Leaders of Tomorrow, have really been working hard to give the type of education that the students in the neighborhood need, right? So they've been trying to add more integrated co-teaching classes. They've been having conversations around expanding from a 6 to 8 school to a 6 to 12 school. Both schools in the building are community schools, but they have challenges, and a lot of those challenges have come through budget cuts, right? So budgets were cut. They got less money, but they have more students, and the direct result of that is less teachers, which means overcrowded classrooms. So if you take all of those challenges and you put them together, and you couple that with several years ago, the Richard R. Green campus was considered one of the most dangerous schools in the entire city of New York. And this year, they went from being one of the most dangerous to literally one of the safest. And one of the issues that we've been having real conversation about is the use of metal detectors in our schools. And they turned the school around in such a way where, you know, I saw something that I never thought I would see in a school, and that's a school be able to get rid of metal detectors. But the metal detectors are gone, right? So they've created a whole new environment in this school, and they want to build on that. But all of those conversations stop if you introduce a Success Academy into the mix and they take up all the available space. So the school, you know, in conversation with CEC11, with the District 11 President's Council, with the District 11 Title I PAC, the principals in District 11 and the CECs from across the borough have really started to put together a campaign to fight off this forced co-location. And one of the things that was done was the creation of a draft resolution, which I'm asking you to consider and adopt. And, you know, I don't know, Amy, if it's appropriate to read the whole thing but the highlight of it, the point of it is we're really asking the District 75 Council to support District 11 by opposing this proposal to open and force co-locate a Success Academy charter school in this building. And we're also asking, one of the big things that we're asking for is for the Department of Education, when we're looking at these spaces, to consider the needs of our students in District 75 programs. And, you know, as best we can, instead of putting Success Academies in buildings, let's look for opportunities to add more District 75 programs, more special education programs, more ICT programs, the types of programs that allow our most vulnerable and marginalized students to have access to services. And we're asking for the Department of Education to have a comprehensive review of the Chancellor's regulation that puts all these things into motion, to really create a clear, transparent, and open process for parent community input before any of these things get to the panel for approval. So we're asking for that any change, or to actively prohibit any change in school utilization that doesn't have input from parent associations, Title I parent advisory councils, school leadership teams, as well as the community and citywide education councils. So if you don't have all of those things, then, you know, we're also asking the Department of Education to write into the regulation where these types of proposals can't move forward. So that's, you know, what's on your screen here. And
If you
know,
can take the opportunity, Tom, just kind of keep it exactly what it is, because of timing, if you can read the resolution.
Absolutely.
So that it allows accessibility for our community, as well as this resolution being at the last minute in support of solidarity for District 11.
Absolutely. Thank you. So the draft resolution says Citywide Education Council for District 75, resolution opposing the proposed forced co-location of a Success Academy charter school on the Richard R. Green campus, building X113. Whereas the New York City Department of Education proposed the opening and co-location of a new Success Academy charter elementary school, 84X TBD, on the Richard R. Green campus, building X113, beginning in the 2023-2024 school year. And whereas the North Bronx School of Empowerment, 11X287, and Leaders of Tomorrow, 11X370, are the schools currently in existence at this campus. And whereas the schools currently existing in the Richard R. Green campus are community schools that are partners with New York Edge to provide our community with the educational choices for our children. And whereas, despite the challenges associated with overcrowded and under-resourced schools with disproportionately high concentrations of students living in poverty and temporary housing in the Olinville-Wakefield section of District 11, and the complexity of sharing space within the building, the schools in the Richard R. Green campus have successfully implemented protocols that have improved the middle school and special education experiences of students. And whereas on October 31st, 2022, the New York City Department of Education held a meeting with the principals of Leaders of Tomorrow, 11X370, and the North Bronx School of Empowerment, 11X287, to discuss the possible co-location and to gather input and feedback. And whereas the Office of District Planning scheduled a meeting with the principals and school leadership team for both schools for November 1st, 2022, with only a single day's notice. And whereas the Office of District Planning held a meeting with the principals and school leadership team to discuss the possible co-location and to gather input and feedback on November 1st, 2022. And whereas there were no impacted parent leaders in attendance because elections for the officers for parent associations, Title I parent advisory councils, and parent members of the school leadership team had not yet been conducted for the 2022-2023 school year. And whereas there were approximately 30 people in attendance at this meeting, consisting mostly of teachers, and not one person spoke in favor of this proposal. And whereas the Office of District Planning scheduled a listening session with the District 11 Community Education Council to discuss the possible co-location and to gather input and feedback from the community on November 10th, 2022. And whereas there were no parent leaders from the school leadership teams from Leaders of Tomorrow, 11X370, and the North Bronx School of Empowerment, 11X287 in attendance because elections for the officers for the Parent Association, Title I Parent Advisory Council, and parent members of the school leadership teams were being conducted at the same time as the listening session. And whereas a walkthrough of Richard R. Green campus was conducted on January 9th with various school, district, and community stakeholders present. And whereas members of the community voiced grave concerns regarding the impact on equity and safety inside and outside of the campus the addition of this third school would cause. And whereas members of the community explained that the addition of a third school to the campus would limit reasonable access for current students to share spaces such as the cafeteria, gymnasium, auditorium, and school library, and a very small outdoor courtyard. And whereas members of the school community stated the Department of Education's assessment of building utilization does not accurately describe how rooms and spaces within the existing schools at the campus are actually being used. And whereas the DOE's building utilization plan does not account for the impact of future changes in utilization on the Richard R. Green campus as a result of the recently signed class size reduction law. And whereas members of the school community added that adding a third school will undoubtedly hinder the progress Leaders of Tomorrow, 11X370, and North Bronx School of Empowerment, 11X287, have made to improve the overall academic, social, and emotional experience of the current students at the campus. And whereas members of the school community stated that they have long advocated for the expansion of campus programs, including the expansion of special education classes, integrated co-teaching classes, the addition of a District 75 program in the neighborhood, and district schools covering grades 6 to 12 within District 11. Be it resolved, the Citywide Council for District 75 supports District 11 by opposing the proposal to open and force co-locate a Success Academy charter school with leadership teams from leadership. Oh, okay, I think there's a little grammatical error here. We can fix it. But the Citywide Council for District 75 supports District 11 by opposing the proposal to open and force co-locate a Success Academy charter school with Leaders of Tomorrow, 11X370, and North Bronx School of Empowerment, 11X287 on the Richard R. Green campus, X113. And be it further resolved, we call on the Department of Education to protect and further support community public schools by expanding investments in District 75, integrated co-teaching, and special education programs, and the experienced, highly qualified teachers, the North Bronx School of Empowerment, 11X287, Leaders of Tomorrow, 11X370, and our most vulnerable students across New York City need, rather than diverting resources to charter schools. And be it further resolved, we call on the elected officials of our community for assistance, support, and protection against forced co-location of charter schools within District 11, the Borough of the Bronx, and school districts across New York City. And be it further resolved, we call on the Department of Education to update Chancellor's Regulation A190 to create a clear, transparent, and open process for parents and the community, for parent and community input concerning changes in school utilization, including changes that prohibit any change in school utilization that does not have parental input from parent associations, Title I parent advisory councils, school leadership teams, community and citywide education councils.
Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate
Yeah, just Tom is fine.
Okay. So we're gonna keep this really short because we are still not halfway toward the agenda. But we do see that in supporting this resolution this evening, we'll offer the potential future co-location for District 75 program in the District 11. We currently don't have a large amount of access in District 11, but we know that in the area of this particular campus, there is a need for students to go to a neighboring school that needs a District 75 program and can be referred or currently has a District 75 programming in their IEP. So it is something that can support our District 75 communities and would like to have feedback. So I do see the first hand council member, Spencer. You may unmute yourself.
Pardon me. Thank you, Co-President Tsai. How are you, Mr. Shepherd?
Just like you when I grow up.
There you go, brother. Let me keep this sweet or else Co-President Tsai will put me in a penalty box. What is the are they voting this month or next month on this railroad? That's number one. And number two, there's a situation similar to this last month, talking about Success Academy trying to get into the building Q072, where there's already an established D75 school there. And I know they're supposed to be trying to vote on that next. Yeah, I just want to know what timetable is on that, and if there's any situation similar to what's happening in Queens out there. Thanks.
Yes, so Councilmember Spencer, you're right. This month there are two.
I'm not talking to them yet. Brian, go.
I'm hearing background.
Yes, I fed her.
So yeah, Councilmember Spencer, there are this month two of these co-locations, and you're talking Q072, that's the Catherine and Count Basie campus. I toured that school and they have a District 75 program in the school. And they're talking about adding a Success Academy to the mix, and it would consider a reorganization of the school in a way that would severely disrupt the way that the school provides services to District 75 or students in District 75 programs, right? In District 11, it's a little different. Like they don't have that access in the neighborhood and they want to explore adding it, right? But that can't happen if this forced co-location were to happen. And both of those votes are next week.
Almost cursed. I know, and I'll just close. So time is of the essence. I'll just close with saying this. I know the situation in Q072 that there's grants that's involved with D75 and expansion. So hopefully there can be some grants for the Richard Lewis and I remember Richard Green campus, man. Anyway, hopefully this can leave access to grants that would foster, because oh my gosh, D75 schools in the North Bronx, Anyway, I'll leave my time off. Thank you, Brother Tom. I'll give my time. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
I'll just add, Councilmember Spencer, two of the schools on the Count Basie campus are magnet schools, and they are funded with federal magnet grant funding. And one of the requirements for that funding is that the school has to show 5% year-over-year growth in student population. And that essentially can't happen if you use up all the space to add a Success Academy. So we are very concerned about that one, as well as this one in District 11. But, I'm here tonight really asking for your support in opposing this one in District 11, but also to, staunchly oppose the one in Queens as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the Richard Green campus could look like that campus. So thank you so much, brother.
Co-President Green, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. Member Shepherd, I was going to ask the same question or a similar question actually as our counterpart, Mr. Spencer, but you've answered that. And in light of the fact that the vote is actually next week, I would like to propose this, because normally a resolution is read and then we vote at the following meeting. But if no council member has an objection to us voting this meeting, I think it would be, time is of the essence. So if we could move forward, maybe with a roll call vote in support.
Does any other council members have a question or feedback? If not, I do see Council Member Spencer. Can you please keep it short, please? It's a long night.
Yeah, you'll get me later, Co-President Tsai. I motion, per Co-President Green, I motion that this council vote on this resolution tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Spencer. Can we get a second for this motion?
I second it.
Thank you, Councilmember Jewett. Recording Secretary Montalvan, are you ready to take a roll call?
Wait, I'm sorry, I just have a question. Are we voting to approve the resolution, adopt the resolution right now, or are we voting to vote?
Councilmember Spencer, are we adopting this resolution?
Well, we're bypassing what we normally do so we can vote. So my motion is to bypass what our normal procedure is and to vote on this tonight, like Co-President Green stated.
You
So-
make a motion to adopt the resolution?
So let me just ask Co-President Green. So should I just
Motion for us to adopt the resolution in support, to adopt
So
it, for us to vote in support of the resolution.
So make it one
For our
vote.
council, yeah, make it one whole thing. Mhm.
Okay, so Secretary Montalvan is to actually vote. So it's to actually vote approving this resolution that blocks Success Academy's forced entry into 11X113. So it's the actual vote. My motion is to actually vote on this adopting this resolution.
And I still second.
Okay, got it.
Whenever you're ready, you can take the roll call. Thank you.
Yes, okay, so we are voting to adopt and approve resolution number 3. Miss Christy Angel?
I'm going to say yes, but I want to add the addendum that when we're doing motions, we have to leave space for discussion. Just because we get, someone that approves it, seconds it, we still have to discuss before we vote. Just want to keep that on everybody's radar, but my vote is yes.
Ms. Constance Acedio?
Yes.
Ms. Celia Green?
Yes.
Ms. Aisha Husbands?
Yes.
Ms. Patricia Jewett?
Yes.
Ms. Joanne Jones? Ms. Joanne Jones, Mr. Shamel Lawrence, Mr. Shamel Lawrence, Ms. Christy Montavon, yes. Mr. Angel Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Craig Spencer,
Yes.
and Ms. Amy Ming Tsai.
Yes, I don't think Councilmember Lawrence is on, and I'm not really sure if Councilmember Jones is on.
I'm here. I didn't hear my name
Okay.
called.
Apologize.
Yes.
Okay, we have 10 votes for yes, the motion has passed.
I just want to say thank you very, very much for adopting this and for standing with District 11. And I will, y'all know I've always promised, and I have not made a promise that I haven't been able to keep, that, and it has nothing to do with passing this resolution, but I've always stood with you and I will always continue to do so. I'm just looking to build the type of spaces where we can all stand together. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom, for being in the space, and we are here grateful that we can support you. Exactly what Councilmember Spencer is doing, sounds this stuff. If you want to stay, you can stay and hang out. If not,
yeah, why not?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn my seat back for this part.
So we are going to turn it over to our chairs and co-chairs of our committees. We are going to keep it short and include that with any announcements that committees have for upcoming meetings or workshops or so forth. So we did have, I don't think Councilmember Lawrence is here, so we will have to skip over the busing committee. And I believe Councilmember Jewett, can you remind me if you're in the curriculum committee with Mr. Lawrence?
Yes, I am. I believe so.
Do you have an update for the curriculum committee?
I don't have an update. I really don't.
No problem.
But I have a feeling that Mr. Lawrence will come back on the meeting and update us.
Sure, we'll come back.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have our safety chair, Councilmember Husbands. Do you have an update or anything to share?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So the safety committee is having a meeting, an upcoming meeting on January 24th at 11 a.m. It will be about planning for the future. The topics of discussion will include healthcare proxies, letter of intent, guardianship, financial planning, how to maintain, since we are District 75, how to maintain Medicaid waiver despite not dependent on our incomes or our children's future income. So I ask that you all join us and enjoy the information, have a conversation. And if you're not able to be present at 11 a.m. on the 24th, the information will be uploaded to the YouTube page, the outreach YouTube page, and it will be available for everyone to see. Thank you. And thank you everyone that attended the puberty and sexuality workshop. We intend to have more. We really understand that there is a great need. There was a large community that reached out to us and that continue to reach out to us for information, and we are working on continuing that workshop. Thank you. Oh, and the flyer was posted in the chat for those that may want to take a look at it. And it should be posted on the website along with the Instagram page, and Remind should be sending it out next week. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you, Councilmember Husbands. Again, any of our committees are also up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to refer back to it or you didn't attend, you can view it on our YouTube channel, and we'll put it in the chat if Councilmember Angel is available to do so. We will go to our bylaws committee. Councilmember Sudo, are you available to share?
The bylaws updates were sent out to all the council people. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, it was sent out to the council and it's an agenda item for a vote already. I just wanted to make one clarification for the council members. There was a request concerning a particular item. All the items of the code of conduct that were taken off were determined to either not apply to the code of conduct for members or to be presented in standing rules. That's why they were removed. So I just wanted to update the council member the email for that information. The reason why that particular item concerning the concerning DOE's HR practices, we are not DOE employees, therefore we are not bound by those particular laws, only in the employment sector. And if they have any other concerns, they can bring it up. But as I said, the changes were all sent out to members and they were read in the last meeting. It's up for a vote, sorry. And there's a hand up, Councilmember Angel.
Yes, quick question. The standing rules, we don't yet have them and we haven't yet voted on them, but I know you referred to them. I might have missed something. Is it included in the bylaw changes, the standing rules for the public and for the council members?
The standing rules is something that's going to be discussed in our next bylaw meeting. I believe you're the one that charged us to handle it, but it is separate from the code of conduct. That's all I'm stating. So
then the question would be, if the code of conduct is dependent upon the standing rules, wouldn't we need to wait for the standing rules to balance them out, or no?
I would think not, because it's the code of conduct for the members in their functioning interaction, basically, with other members and the public.
Does the code of conduct also include the conduct that the public should have in the meetings?
No, it does not. It does not. It could be our standing rules of order for our meetings. The code of conduct is specifically, my understanding when it was presented, is for members.
Okay, and that's in the next bylaws meeting you said is coming up, right?
Yeah, we're going to do the standing rule. We're going to discuss it as a committee and people will make their suggestions and we will determine what that will be. But as I said, I believe you're the one that requested a vote that we handle that. So it will be there for the next.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Since you are here, Councilmember Sudo, we'd like to share something on the hiring committee with Councilmember.
Yes. I'm sorry. I will proceed with that since the reason why I would like a vote on the individual. The individual has been contacted and has agreed to the position. We are now waiting through our face liaison for HR to contact the individual and make the offer for that individual to formally accept it. And then the council has to pass the resolution with the individual's name as well as their salary format. That is what we're waiting on. And Mr. Gonzalez is handling that particular sector. But I've spoken to the candidate today and she had not heard from HR yet, even though they've been informed. So we're waiting for that. The only thing is when we had our last meeting, I believe we said we would reveal, we never revealed the individual that the council had voted for. And I just want a formal vote in the public record of who the council has chosen, besides the resolution passing.
Thank you. We'll go to the legislation committee. I know that we had added a co-chair with co-chair Councilmember Jewett. Do you have something to share on the committee for legislation?
Not at this time, except that we probably need to have a meeting, a committee meeting.
Thank you. We will go to our outreach committee and annual report committee under council member Angel.
Thank you. Just a brief update for the annual report committee. I am in the process of getting submissions. Once again, if we know any DOE vendors or writers that we do want to become a vendor with consideration to writing our annual report, if you could please email the council, let us know any kind of way you can. We would love it. We really want to have a breadth of people with experience to help us make a selection for our writer on for the report. So if you have any ideas, if you know any people, please make that known. We are in the process. Hopefully before the end of this month, I can get some things sent over to the council so that we can start looking before our actual meeting in February. Thank you.
Do you have anything to share on the outreach?
Well, yes, since we're here, as we do have the election committee page for the ad hoc committee to make sure that our parents and families know what you can do with the steps to join NICSA, to vote, to run, to be a part of what is going on with all of the CECs 1 through 32. Additionally, we are having outreach with Include NYC on February 11th. Council members, we will have information given out where you guys can get set up before the end of the month. There is a training coming out on February 7th. I will send that out to members as well. We are moving forward, and well, with that, I do not believe there are any further updates. I will have the insights ready for our February, I believe, 3rd meeting for our social media and our website so that we can see what is going on there. Again, if council members do have information that they want on the committee websites or resources that we can give our parents, please do let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. We will go to the transition committee. Is there anything to share?
Okay. Hi, I'm working on setting up a meeting for February, but in the meantime, I just wanted to share that this weekend in Staten Island, all of our schools have put together a community transition and resource fair at the Hungerford School in Patrides. I shared the flyer. I'll put it in the chat again. So there's a lot of good resources that will be there this weekend. I also wanted to share, and this is more my Staten Island Borough report, but I just wanted to share next week. There are a lot of open houses for middle schools and high schools here on Staten Island all week. The 24th is IS2 for P37R at 9 a.m. Hungerford Jerome Parker campus open house is 10 a.m. Wednesday, the 25th. P373R at IS61 middle school open house is at 10:30 a.m. on the 25th. Thursday, the 26th, we have Hungerford High School at Patrides campus open house at 9:30 a.m. and P37R campus middle school and high school open houses at 10:30 a.m. on the 26th. And then Friday, we have P721R at IS24 middle school open house at 9:30 a.m. So I just wanted to share those out, you know, for any families in Staten Island who are looking for the middle school and high school open houses. And also in Staten Island, we are having at P37R, I just put in the chat, a Turning 5 information session on February 2nd at 10 a.m. And that's hosted by the D75 schools here on Staten Island. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Montalban. And we will leave it to the last and foremost, Councilmember Spencer and your committees with, I believe, your co-chair, Councilmember Asudu on the capacity utilization, and then you can leave with your addition committee ad hoc election communication.
Thank you, Co-President Tsai. So yeah, I've been mentioning the last since